Hey guys, we are back. This is Factorio 1.0, Chasing the Achievement Fairy. So, as you can see, we are quickly burning through our initial resource uh, spots at this point. So, what we're going to do is we're going to get down here and we're going to start picking up some of these other locations and start filtering some of this some of these resources into these locations, because if we don't, crap, disconnected that, we are going to be hurting with a quickness. So let us go ahead and get these ones going with miners. So we're going to pick up this iron patch here. It's going to be pretty simple. We'll just run it straight up. Copper, we got one here and we got one here. This is a pretty good size one, but it's a ways away. But we're going to go ahead and pick it up and we're going to belt it in. We're not ready for trains yet. This is still, for me personally, this is still belting distance. We start getting out into these, then it's training distance. But for these close ones like this, for myself personally, that's still belting distance. I don't know about anybody else. And I don't know at what point people choose to swap over to belts from trains. But that's my personal preference. That's my personal take on it as to, you know, how far I'll go. I will, if it's within the walls of my initial base, I will belt it. So we're going to lay out as many of these miners as we can here. We may run out. We got a fair number in hand, but we're going to try and get this whole patch covered. And then we'll worry about belts and poles after. Alright, there's that side. So along with this series, yeah, see, there we go, we ran out. Alright. I'm doing that space exploration mod series. And if anybody has been watching, you guys know that last episode we finally had our cosmic rays hit the planet, and it didn't damage anything, but our defenses really didn't work out for it at all. Shout out to, and I'm going to mention this over on that series too. Shout out to one of my watchers, Space Barbarian. He has apparently played that mod before, and he has been quietly waiting for this to hit so that he could impart some of his wisdom from having gone through it himself. And I definitely appreciate both the fact that he shared his wisdom with me, and the fact that he waited until after the event to do so. I know he, according to him, was sitting and waiting to comment, and I imagine he's probably laughed at me on a number of occasions with some of the stupid things I've done, seeing as how he has experience with this mod. But I do appreciate the fact that he waited until after I dealt with it myself. That particular mod has a lot of new stuff to it and what have you. And as much as I like vanilla Factorio, the truth of it is, I've played it enough times that you can go through it pretty easily and not run into too many problems, just as a vanilla game. That particular mod is making me think. There's a lot to it that is not in the regular game, and I'm not sleeping through it. Let's put it that way. I mean, not that I'm necessarily sleeping through this one either, but I have played vanilla on more than one occasion, so it's not like I'm, as I like to say, reinventing the wheel at this point. I already kind of know, we missed a poll over there, what to expect and things like that. I mean, there are some new things that I am definitely looking forward to checking out. The Spidertron being one of them. I see a lot of people playing the Spidertron. I'm really kind of interested, but I'm not going to push through to it artificially or anything. I'm going to get it when I get it. And we'll go from there. But I'm kind of looking forward to checking that out too. But yeah, so if you haven't watched that series, I would recommend going and checking it out. It's gotten interesting. I have figured out, it looks like I'm going to have to build a whopping big nuke plant possibly, but we'll see how that goes, whether I actually end up doing it or not. We're probably going to probably about it. We're definitely going to end up increasing the size of our plant for this particular series if we want to reach our goal. We are either going to increase the size of this plant, or when we start laying rails, we're going to pick up a lot of it through solar power. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring these two main ones that go through this patch right down there and hook up to them. Seeing how all of the connection infrastructure is already there to take it to the smelting area, we're just going to run it right through the existing infrastructure for now. But we're going to run it up as two lines. There also gets a point where I think I've mentioned this with like iron or copper plates versus cable and a few other things, where you can stuff more onto a belt in certain forms than you can in other forms, and iron is no exception to that. I can stuff more on a belt if I'm putting it in as iron plates than if I'm putting it in as iron ore. So if I excuse me, if I smelt it on site and then send it out as iron plates, in a lot of cases I'm going to be better. It takes up less room, so you can get more of it on a belt. Alright, so there it is. That's set up. We used yellow belts, but we can always go back and replace those with reds, and we're going to. Because at some point, we're going to be... Excuse me. Man. We're going to be upgrading the whole plant to red belts. We're not quite there yet. Once we get our iron and our copper going, we may be more in a position to do that. But we have to secure our supplies first. Now, are we making additional miners over here? I do not believe so. Yeah, no, we're not. Okay, so let's go over and start laying the groundwork for this copper now that we've got our iron hooked up and committed. It ain't gonna be perfect, but it'll be enough to get us going. We're still slowly building out our accumulator bank, and we'll continue to work on that. It is somewhat tempting with this patch to only mine the lower half first so that we get it out of the way. But what I'm going to do, and it will kind of have generally the same effect, is we're going to run our belts south to north. Because I find, simply because of the way things back up on belts and what have you, that the end belts, or the end miners, empty out before the front miners do, because everything backs up here and these guys can't put on stuff, so all of these empty out first. So if we start down here, then it will eventually accomplish kind of the same thing we've been trying to do. It'll shrink this resource patch bottom up. Now, we got poles already on that side, which is kind of convenient, so we lined up right next to them. So then when we go up the other side, we don't have to we're killing two birds with one stone when it comes to the poles. We are keeping our interconnectivity within our base, and we're hooking our miners up. Alright, so now let's see where we're going to run this. And I'm thinking we're going to run it up, over, and down, just to avoid having to snake it through all of the other materials that are there. So we want to be at least 1, 2, 3, 4 poles up, looks like. 1, 2, 3, 4 poles up. And that should get us above, yep, that'll get us above that. Also going to want to hit up stone in the same way. We're not as hurting for stone yet, but we are going through it, so we also want to hook that up at some point. Right now, the two big priorities are copper and iron, though, because they are getting way low. How much further we gotta go? We gotta go ish. Right? Do we got grenades with us? We don't have any grenades with us. Let's go get some grenades. Because we got some forest to clear. So we might as well grab some grenades too. Oops. Right up here. That ought to be enough. If it ain't, we can get more. So it looks like we're starting to finally build up down here, so I think we're okay with our nuke plant. We're going to be just fine with our fuel. Oops. We're going to leave that one. We got to come back through with the second line anyway. And the plan is to put it on that side, so. Alright. Don't throw them where you're going to be walking. Alright. And again, like I say, there are probably those who look at this and think that this is way too long to be running a belt for copper, and I don't necessarily disagree, but for myself personally, I don't mind running it this far. It's only belts. It's not like we're not making more. And I don't believe that it being on the belt is going to slow it down any more over distance than it is short run on a belt. It's still, the belt goes as fast as the belt goes. Once it's full, I don't think it makes a damn bit of difference. Now, I don't know, and I don't think it does, and if it does, it's negligible, that you get charged energy usage for things like belts. So, and I think maybe that should be something that is in the game, because it would certainly encourage better base building practices. But as far as I know, there is no power cost to these, and if there is, it's negligible in comparison to everything else. But you would think if you end up with, you know, miles of freaking spaghetti like I sometimes do, that it ought to have some kind of power cost. But if you think about it, when the power goes out, when you run out of steam engines and what have you, the belts keep working. So I would say, That's a pretty good indicator that they do not draw power. And like I say, that's, I don't know, a little weird. Of course I ran into a power pole, because, you know, why wouldn't I? Alright, there we go. So, since we know that's going to go that way, let's go ahead and hook that up first. Alright, now let's go get some more drills. Oh, we don't have... No, we don't have logistics bots yet, though. We're only making construction bots in the factory, and we haven't made any logistics bots yet, so we can't request stuff. We'll get to it. We will get to it. Yeah, you can really see that our copper is declined quite a bit. All right, there we go. And even if this isn't enough to finish it out, it will be enough to get us a decent start. And then we can fill in from there. That's what I like to see. It's definitely filling up now. See, once you get these suckers going, you're in a pretty good position at that point. Oh, and let's do this too. Follower count again. Beacons, we'll take beacons. We'll take automation 3. Coal liquefaction, we're not in a hurry for, but if there's nothing else. We're getting close to Spidertrons. Getting close to them. Yeah, we'll take it. We'll just bang them out in order. There's nothing in specifically in particular we're looking for at this point. So we'll just go ahead and keep snagging them in order. Those ones won't last long. That should be it. Yeah, that's it. Alright, there we go. So it's not all of it, but it's most of it. That'll get us going with that. And that should keep us in copper. So let us clear this spot, because that's our next building spot. Oh, you guys, I don't want you guys coming. Oh, well. You guys are going to come up there, and then you're not going to have anything to do, because you're not going to know where to put the stuff, because there's no chest to put it in. That's on me, I know. I need to put down some chests for you to put the crap in. Fine. There we go. We cleaned it up. Okay, so now let us go back to building our base. Actually, I think I want to do something. Because this next one that we're going to build, we want to put it down out here away from our guys first. And there's a reason I want to do it that way. Method to my madness, as it were. Make ourselves some room for it first, because it is a fairly large blueprint. But one of the things that slows down its placement, and there is nothing wrong with that, is, there it is that it has a whole bunch of concrete to be put down with it. Tree is in the way. Oh well, we'll get rid of the tree. And the concrete takes forever. There's the trees. Okay. So, what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to see if this works. We want to filter will it do it? Oh, it's on this one because it's tiles, right? Alright, so we want to get rid of nothing but the concrete. And I don't think that's going to do what we wanted to do. That's what I thought. That didn't do what I wanted it to do. How about blacklist? Let's see if that... No, that doesn't do it either. What I'm trying to do, I think you guys have figured it out, is I'm trying to get it to not put down the concrete. How about only? Yep, that's what I wanted. So I wanted to be able to get rid of all of the concrete in this and then make a new blueprint without the concrete. Now, honestly, I don't think we need the walls either, but the walls kind of lend it some definition, and I can see where things are with the walls. So, now let's blueprint this again. And this is, again, this is one of Zisteau's prints, but I am, like I say, changing it up a bit because I don't want the concrete. So now we can get rid of that. We can get a new one. We can get rid of the blueprint, and we can put it over where we want to put it without having to worry about the concrete, because like I said, the concrete just slows it down just to ridiculous levels for completion, and it ties your bots up. And I don't have that much concrete production yet to support it, etc., etc., etc. So we're just going to eliminate that problem right off the bat. Come on, guys, finish what you're doing. We're going to be taking that away eventually anyway. Might as well just let it finish doing its job. Alright. So now let's see if we can stick this sucker in here. There it is. Let's see if this thing will even fit. So we can't go any higher than there, right? So I'm going to try and lean that lined up. We can't go any higher than there. All right. So I think that gets us right in where we want to be. Because all of our connections are down in that bottom right hand and along the right hand side. Big sandy rock is in the way. Well, move that big sandy rock out of my way. And once these guys are out of stuff that is in my hands, we're going to go and snag up a couple of roboports and put this sucker within our base. Ah, good, it's already doing it. We'll use up out of pocket what we can. Is that everything? Now this thing relies on substations, and we don't have substations yet. So we'll have to build a few substations real quick. And they're copper, red plates, and steel. Or red circuits, rather, not red plates. You guys knew what I meant. eye itches. There we go. Alright, so let's get over here and let it install these substations. We got any more? We don't got no more. Alright, what do we need? Steel plates. That should be enough, let's hope. Huh, one shy. Figures. Now imagine if we were having to build this sucker by hand. It would take a while. And just to get us going, can we reach any of them from here? No. We'll just have to plop one down. Alright, there we go. So now it should be all powered as well. So it'll be able to use these roboports to recharge and to power this stuff up as it builds. And we will just let it go. And while that's doing that, we'll go back and get our rest of our miners and finish up our copper plant, or our copper field. And then we can figure out what it is that we need to hook up. And get that all knocked out. And I'll tell you, this base, man, it is a thing of beauty. Once we get her going. There they are. That everybody? Alright, that's everybody. I think everybody's hooked up now. So what are we not making that we need? A whole bunch of stuff, huh? That's okay though, because part of that stuff is actually made in here. And part of it is still coming over. But it is now all within our logistics. So the underground belts is going to be one that it's behind on, and it needs a bunch of them. Now this thing is going to take a little bit of, and I'm probably just going to do it off camera rather than waste you guys' time, of remembering what goes where. Because these used to be set up as placeholders, and it would tell you, you know, what was in them or what went into those places, but it doesn't anymore. So you kind of need to use filter inserters to do that. Just a hint for the future for anybody that's doing it. These don't work anymore, or don't seem to. Now it seems that you need filter inserters to mark what goes where. So we're gonna off camera. We're gonna figure out what hooks up to all of these, and get them all hooked up to the right places. What I'll probably do is go back to an old video or something that I have, and take a screenshot and figure all of these out. So that we know what goes where. In the interim, I think we are built up to a point where we're good to go. So now you can see this set of bases is going to make pretty much everything that we're not making yet. Everything you can think of, for the most part, is in this sucker. And with the beacons and whatnot, it will be making it in mass quantities. So this is a real nice setup. Definitely not something you're going to start out with, because there's just way too much of it that you don't have the tech for starting out. There's no sense building this big thing. Plus, you won't have the resources. But at this point, man, I love this setup. This is awesome, and it's nice and compact, and it's well thought out. There are reasons that I use things, blueprints from other people, because I'm not this good, and I, you know, could not come to close to something like this. Now, that being said, for what we're doing here, we're going to design the rest of it on our own. We're not going to blueprint our way through this entire thing. I just want to get the main base built, and the fastest way to do that has been to just throw blueprints at it and get it going. And then once we've got it going, and we can start building out from here, and either making a grid or making a whatever we make, we can worry about it then. How are we doing on power? Oh yeah, we're just fine on power. We're still a little behind on iron, and we'll get that addressed. Part of it, we need to get red belts in instead of yellow belts. I wanted to get it at least flowing before we completely ran out, and we've got that. Now we can just go back and put in our red belts. But there it is, guys. We're going to call that an episode. Off camera, I'm going to go ahead and probably put in red belts all over the place, or at least, you know, in the resource fields. And I'm going to sit down and figure out what all to connect to that other base, and that'll be that. But I just wanted to kind of snag a little bit more on this and keep it moving. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.